morning, ladies and gentlemen, Manny here, welcome back to the channel. Let's go on a little adventure today. Remember when I said I'm gonna drop some mother flippin' training motivation onto you guys with this beautiful training. Now I'm ready to push through to 9A. Let's get it done. Big training weekend. Yeah, well, that was before Christmas and New Year's, you know. Lots of family visits, lots of unavoidable calories, as you guys know. And so I put a little bit of weight on and I had a couple of rest days actually. So I got on the scale today, 68.5 kilograms, which is, you know, even for my standards, quite heavy. So we got a bit of a problem here, which is me, my heaviness, my bigness, so to say. The weather is better than expected, and so I wanted to get a little bit of an outdoor bouldering session done, because I actually had this project of mine, which which I touched already before the Christmas and New Year's orgies. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that feels today. At least I want to get back onto it, and after that I want to hit the gym actually. So it's gonna be a bit of a fitness check today, you know. I'm gonna take a couple of things that I was quite good at before the Christmas and New Year's tragedies. Let's get it done. The hardest part is always the ascent to the cave, man. Whew. And here the friendly voiceover ghost is back as well to comment on this beautiful outdoor bouldering session. We're back in Pegau, to the north of Graz, in wonderful Styria. And here we already have the problem in question, you know. This boulder is called Bruder des kleinen Nichts, and to the lower finish it's only 7C+, quote unquote. To the upper finish it's 8A, and the crux hold was highlighted here in pink. It evolves essentially around this really strange two-hold pinch, which we're gonna take a more detailed look at in a second. As usual, I started, you know, with doing some stretching, some mobilizing, and also hanging the holds simply. And then I already started to try the single moves. This is the second move to this kind of strange undercling side pull. It's a really greasy problem already. It's kind of slippery. You really have to be very precise, especially with your stepping. You know, this is the move to the crux hold that I just slipped off here, and is involving this really beautiful, I think, back step, this drop knee with the right foot. Here you have a little bit of a close-up of the crux hold. As you can see, it's really, every finger has to be sorted in perfectly. The pointer has a very specific position, and the thumb as well. And as we're gonna see, optimizing the gripping technique on this hold was actually key for me to sending this problem. Here I'm still, this is the second crux move. The first crux move is the move into the crux hold, and the second crux move is simply the next move into the intermediate. As you can see here I'm sticking it for the first time. And the next move, although looking quite spectacular, the slap out to the corner, is then not that hard anymore in my personal opinion. And then we've got this really cool body strength, the sequence out to the corner, from which you have to do a couple more really hard moves to the top actually. So let's take a closer look at the change that I did in my gripping technique. Take a look at the thumb of the right hand now. The thumb of the right hand is a little bit different. This shot is taken from the sand, then compared to how I tried it before, on the left side, where the thumb is a bit more on the side, so to say. And you can't really get that much weight onto your thumb if you're grabbing it like that. So yeah, really interesting, sometimes how these super small details make a difference between being able to send a problem and failing on a problem. And then basically the grind on this project began, as it usually is. Once you've done all the single moves, you can start making attempts from the bottom. And yeah, well, as you can see already, the first move is quite tough. And this is the move that I failed the most on, this drop knee into the crux hold. And I figured that it was because my left foot was not positioned perfectly. Just another little detail that I got wrong. And once I tried to step a little bit higher, a smaller foothold than the obvious one, just 10 centimeters higher or so, as you can see here, I'm sorting it in, right foot, left foot, a little bit higher, and then doing the same drop knee as usual. and from then on it was basically possible to reach the crux hole. And it's quite necessary to reach it as statically as possible, because as you have seen, it's super complex to grab, and you gotta sort your fingers in perfectly, otherwise you're just gonna fail on the next move. And once I had all this info, I could start finally with making really promising attempts from the ground. Here again, drop knee, sorting the crux hole in perfectly, and then being able to lock it off here quite solidly actually. And then repositioning the right foot, big move out to the corner, beautiful body strength there, locking this thing off. Short shakeout with the right hand, quite important to be able to get the finish done. Shakeout with the left hand, also quite important. And this beautiful crossover there. This tricky toe hook, this is just beautiful. The sequence up to the top of this one is actually really beautiful, and the finish of a lot of boulders that start at the bottom of this cave. Big move to the right, really sloppy, really slopey I should say, and slippery heel hook with the left. This is actually a bit of a scary move, especially at the end where you already really pumped. And then reaching to the top, really slopey top, which you have, even matching that one can be quite a challenge if you're already pumped. So yeah, cool outdoor session I have to say, motivated crew, was a lot of fun. That went much more successful than I would have expected. My friends, project went down, got my hands onto something new, something really small holded. I had to be careful to not rip my fingertips open, you know, because I'm quite heavy and I don't have a lot of callus at the moment, that's for sure. Anyway, man, I already rechecked the footage on the camera and I'm looking like a freaking sumo wrestler, man. So definitely got some weight to lose. Anyway, we are heading to the gym now and continue this fitness check of today. I'm pretty positively surprised, I have to say. Pretty excited to see how it's going on the 45er and on the hangboard. Let's go. And here we are, back in good old Fürstenfeld. As you can see, it's already dark outside. I just wanted to start this indoor session with a bit of mobilizing and stretching as usual, just to see where I stand in terms of my flexibility. Can I still do all my major, splits, all my major stretches? And I was positively surprised there as well, because I didn't do a lot of stretching in recent times. As you can see here, just standard warm-up, hanging a couple of holds. And here we have a new tool close to the 45er that I bring. What is the word here? That I placed there recently, because I'm gonna need this for a new experiment of mine. You should stay tuned for that. It's just simply a scale which is there to assess the actual training weight, because when you're taking your body weight in the morning after you've woken up, which is a good reference value, in the meantime you maybe have breakfast, you go to the toilet 1-2 times, and then you're attacking the 45er. Well, then you don't really know your training weight, right? And for this next experiment of mine, we're gonna need to know the training weight very accurately, and that's why I put this scale here close to the 45, so that I can always measure my direct training weight before I hit it. So to compare my current fitness to how fit I was before the Christmas and New Year's stuff, I picked two boulders which I was able to do quite solidly actually before Christmas. The first one is this one here. This is a replica boulder from the Andromeda Wall series. I think it was featured in Andromeda Wall 5 or something. And it's the replica boulder of the second crux of Mode Selector, which was the 8C Plus that I was projecting back then. And it didn't go really well, I have to say. I had to do a lot of alternative holds, a lot of alternative stepping, because I wasn't able to do the original sequence on those holds. Back then I was quite a lot stronger, I had the feeling. This is the second boulder that I picked for this fitness check. It's another replica boulder of another project of mine that I didn't actually send so far. I mean, I sent the replica boulder quite solidly actually. I think it's graded 7B+/C or something. But I didn't send the outdoor project for it, and also there I could really feel my skin already. It hurt quite a lot. I had to postpone the second part of the fitness check to the next day. Ladies and gentlemen, for you it's just 5 seconds, but for me it's 25 hours. It's been 25 hours since we left the vicinity yesterday. and we're back today to continue where we left yesterday. The warm-up and stretching has already been done. Now we're gonna attack 2 replica boulders again and see how we do today. Fascinatingly, I have a lot better feeling than yesterday because, yeah, I'm a bit more rested. I just have the feeling, you know. The heavy boulder session from yesterday already left my forearms. They are refreshed, and yeah. And so we're gonna try the replica boulders again. I have a feeling that I'm gonna perform better than yesterday, and then we're gonna hit the good old Beastmaker as well. It should be fun. And here we are checking the actual training weight on the local scale again, checking in at 68.1 kilograms, which is pretty much as heavy as we were yesterday. I think it was 68.2 yesterday. Despite the same weight, I was feeling a lot fresher this day actually. And although we didn't do a rest day in between those 2 sessions, right? We only had 25 hours of rest, of doing nothing. And this is sometimes how it goes. I've mentioned this previously. Don't get caught in this attitude that you have to do a rest day in order to get to your freshest. Sometimes the body is just fresher, although having the same weight as on other days. It also, of course, has something to do with nutrition. I figured that out in the meantime. But yeah, it really doesn't depend so much on rest days, in my case at least. And as you can see, I was actually able to send this replica boulder that I wasn't able to send yesterday during this session. This, again, 7B+/C. It's not overly hard or anything, but it felt a lot better this day. So a little bit of a glimpse of hope during this fitness check, you know. Yeah, cool boulder. I need to get back on the corresponding outdoor project of this one. It's an 8C route, also really bouldery, very cool stuff, my style, so I should try it again. And here we have actually a little bit of a sneak peek to my upcoming experiment as well. This is a weight west, I think 4 kilos or something. Yeah, should be an interesting experiment. You should stay tuned for that. After that, I was hitting the Beastmaker as announced. Some simple warm-up pull-ups, and then I just wanted to check how I feel on these one-armers, these assisted one-armers that I'm always doing on the Beastmaker 2000. Starting with the better middle edge there, as usual. And then I thought, why not try the one-armer for the heck of it, and I didn't really have a chance, as you can see. I was locked in at 90 degrees pretty solidly, so I'm just too heavy at the moment. You know, when I made this one-armer, I think I was about 5 kilograms lighter or something, and this is of course another world. Then I switched onto the small edges on the side of the Beastmaker 2000 with taking some weight off. As you can see, we are down to 3 plates here. One plate is 1.25 kilograms, so this amounts up to 3.75 kilograms of assistance of you know, weight taken off. But of course it's much more because there's a lot of friction in this system actually. As you can see, I just you know, I fiddled the rope around this wooden bar up there, and of course there's a lot of friction. So I would guess there is about 8 or 9 or 10 kilograms of assisting weight in fact. And then I was getting down to 2 plates for the right hand at least, which is my personal record, which I could do before the Christmas and New Year's disasters. And I could not do it this day. So I'm still quite away from my peak performance, but it was not too bad. You know, 3 plates were no problem on both sides, and that alone made me quite happy already. So I think I'm on the right track. Actually, I think I'm quite strong, given how heavy I am at the moment. That means, you know, a couple of days of 1 meal a day maybe, keeping up the training and getting back into tip-top shape, and we should be able to crush some hard stuff. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little insight into my training, into my coming back from the Christmas and New Year's eating orgies. I hope you are having a good training yourself as well, and I'll see you soon in the next one, guys. Bye.